is red. Akai. Akai. So akai. And again, same as blue, you can turn this word into a noun, which will become aka. Aka. Which is red. But, oh my god. Red. But it is a noun. So, for example, if you know the anime Akagami no Shirayuki Hime no Akagami Shirayuki Hime. So the red-haired Snow White. So they use the aka and then gami, which is the kanji of hair. Red hair. Akai. Aka. So. And then we have the color black, which is kuroi. 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 Black. And again, the same as like the other color, they have the noun of it, which is kuro. Kuro. This is black, but it is a noun. Kuro. So, why must have E? That one is to differentiate between whether it's a noun or it's an adjective actually. So an adjective is used to describe another noun. For example, like this one, sora, the sky. Sora means sky, and sora is actually a noun. So you want to make it more, you want to explain it in more detail what kind of sky it is. So you want to say blue sky. Apa noun? Noun. Noun in Malay. What is noun in Malay actually? Is it kata nama, is it? Noun in Malay. I don't know. No. It's okay, Allah. I'll try to explain this after class for you in detail after this. I'll try to explain more in detail. What is noun, what is adjective actually. Okay. Don't worry. After class I'll focus on that one. So yes, that is kuro, black. Or kuroi. Okay. The next one is sabishi. Sabishi. So this one it means lonely. Sabishi. So sabishi, sabishikunai. Sabishikatta. Sabishikunakatta. So sabishi. And then the next one will go back to a color which is white. Shiroi. 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 White. And again, as the same goes for the other colors, it also have the noun version of it, which is shiro. Shiro, which is white, but in a noun version. Shiro. So, shiroi. And then the last one would be, wakai. Wakai, which is young. For example, a young lady, wakai onna no hito. Or a young guy, wakai otoko no hito. Wakai. Wakai, young. So, young. 大丈夫ですか? Other than the noun and the adjective part, that one I'll come back after the class. Is it okay, everyone? 大丈夫ですか? 質問ありますか?
大丈夫。
大丈夫, yes. Okay. So that one is for the E adjective. And the next one, we have the na adjective. So the reason why it's called na is because after you use the word, you have to add the hiragana na at the back. Compared to this one, E, usually it ends with E hiragana at the back, if you notice. It ends with E. Oh, right, the thumbs up. Reminded me of Reina Sensei. So yes, E adjective usually ends with the E hiragana at the back. While for the na adjective, which is na keyoshi, na keyoshi, usually after you use that word, you have to add the hiragana na. So for example, this one is ijiwaru na. Ijiwaru na. So ijiwaru is actually like mean-spirited, or like, you know, that guy always, for example, that guy always tease you. So you would call like ijiwaru na hito. So because they always tease you, which in other contexts it can be like mean lah. So and that guy likes you. Yes, that technically that is how usually it is in anime actually. So ijiwaru na. Ijiwaru na. Mean-spirited or mean, or a person who likes to tease you sometimes. So. The next, so only for this one, we only learned the one na adjective. Other than that, for example, an example of na adjective would be like kirei. Kirei means pretty. Kirei. Kirei. But you have to use na after that. Kirei, for example, you want to say a very pretty person, a very pretty lady. You say kirei na onna no hito. Onna no hito. Kirei na onna no hito, for example. So you have to use the na since it's under the na adjective category. So for those who don't really understand, don't worry, because we'll be covering this again in the beginner's class in the previous chapter. This one we've covered in the previous chapter actually. So the next one is the U verb. So what is U verb in Japanese? For those who knows? No, I don't know. 大丈夫。大丈夫。How you? So U verb is actually in Japanese is called godan. Godan. U verb is actually, it ends with the U vowel actually. U vowel. U vowel. U vowel. So it ends with the U vowel. Hold on. Godan means 5 level actually. 5 level. The U vowel. So if you notice, but this one, the one that they give is quite confusing actually. But yes, for example, like to write, the verb to write, which is kaku. Kaku. And if you notice, the ku here is, it ends with the u vowel, which is ku, the u vowel. So that's why it ends with u, it's under u verb. So verb are like kata kerja. So. Alhamdulillah. So u verb is a kata kerja, yes. It's a verb, so. And if you notice this one, at the end of it ends with the u vowel here. Hiku, ru. It all ends with the u vowel. U vowel. So. For example, like sleeping is a verb. It's an action. So. Something you do. So the first one we have is odoru. Odoru. So odoru means to dance. To dance. Odoru. Odoru. Odorimasu, for example. Odoru. To dance. And then we also have owaru. Owaru. Which means something ends. For example, you want to say the class ends now. 授業終わりますよ, for example. 授業も終わりました. The 終わる, this one. It means it ends. 終わる. The next one, we have 人気がある。人気がある. So basically, this one is basically the word ある lah here. 人気 means popular, and がある is like basically to say has or have. Basically, so basically, it's to be popular in this context. 人気がある. This is the kanji of popular. 人気, the kanji of a person, 人. And this one is the kanji of environment, actually. So, 人気がある. For example, you want to say, あの人は人気がある. That person is quite popular, for example. 人気がある. The next one would be the opposite of owaru, which is 始まる, which means to begin. 始まる. For example, you want to say the class is about to begin. Like, これから授業が始まりますよ. For example, 始まる. 始まる. And the last one is, no, not the last one. This one is 弾く. 弾く. So this one is basically used to say that you play an instrument that is like usually like string-based instrument like guitar, violin, and is also used for piano too. So you want to say I play the piano, piano ga hikemasu, because this one is I can. So hiku. For example, you want to ask and what you call it, a favor for that person to play a guitar. Guitarを弾いてください. For example, 弾く. Piano を弾く or ギターを弾く. Ya, teringat pasal semalam. 弾く. So, 弾く. And the last one for you verb is もらう. もらう. So もらう is it is the verb with the meaning of to get something or to receive something actually. So to receive something. プレゼントをもらった. I got a present, for example. So 行く行く行く。引く. So this one is もらう. For example, you want to say you got a present from a friend. So the person is friend, which is 友達にプレゼントをもらいました. For example, I got a present from a friend. So personに点をもらいました or もらう. So that is the you verb. Is there any question? You can stop me anytime, don't worry. Is there any question for the you verb? チョコをもらう actually. チョコをもらう. It's the O. This one. チョコをもらう. Thumbs up. そうそうそう。Go down is 5 level or 5th level. It is 5 levels. So 5 levels. Go down. Okay. The next one will be entering the rule verb. So the rule verb, this one, before that I should explain. The reason why they call 5 level, this one, is because when you conjugate these verbs, it has 5 level of way of changing the verb. It will change into 5 different level depending on depending on the context that you want to say, or in the context that you want to say to that person. It's 5 levels. So for example, like the word kaku, right? Kaku. If you want to change it into a negative form, then it'll be nai. So you notice this one will change a vowel. It'll change the vowel here, and then they add something at the back. This part, it changes. And even like, for example, if you want to ask a favor, like ask someone to do it, it'll become kaite. It'll change here. This one it will change also. So that's the reason why it's called 5 level, because it has, depending on the context. This one you don't have to worry. Because this one we'll learn as we learn more grammars. But the reason why it's called 5 level is because they have different way of conjugating it. It changes the vowel of the hiragana. However, the next one that we will learn, the rule verb, is called ichidan. This one is called ichidan, which is 1 level. So, 1. Ichidan. And the go is 5. So. And this one, ichidan, which means 1 level. And the reason why it's called 1 level is because when you conjugate it, you only change one thing. So for example, like an example that we previously learned for the root verb, a word which is taberu. Taberu. So taberu is means to eat. However, if you want to change it to the negative form, it'll become tabe nai. So if you notice, you basically just remove this hiragana and add on another one. You don't, basically is the difference between the U verb is that you don't have to change this into another vowel as compared to like this one. This one, you have to change the ku to ka, which is the a vowel. But this one is basically you just remove the ru, but you just add nai at the back. And the same goes for like asking. Ask someone to do it. It'll become tabete. So basically you just remove the ru, and then you just add te at the back. So that's why it's called 1 level, because it doesn't really change. You just add on something. No worries. Afwif is, if I'm not mistaken, how I pronounce your name. No worries.
Yes.
Okay. No worries. So this is the reason why it's called the 1 level. How do you say 5th level or 1st level? How will you say 5th level or 1st level instead of 1 level? I see. It depends on the context too, actually. If it's like the number of floors, for example, like oh no, the screen.
A, B, C, and C. Oh
No.
no.
Yeah, bye this. This is not. Stop. String. This is not start the string. Okay. So yeah, it depends on the context. If it's like 5th level, as if for example, like you are in a shopping mall and you want to see the floor level, then you would use the word. Oh wait,
No.
did the
That
stream stop?
Yeah, it's
No.
insane.
I guess we have to go to the other way. Hold on.
No ASMR mic.
No, it's in my mic. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Hold on. Okay, my name. Where is it? Now I have to get my phone to see the chat. Three. To open the chat too. Congo. Alright. So yes, as I was saying, depending on the context, for example, like fifth level, as if in terms of like maybe floor, like in a shopping mall, the fifth floor or that kind of meaning, then you would use kai. For example, like ikai, which is the first floor, first level, nikai, sangai, like that. But depending on the context too. But I'm not so sure for the others. For some reason, at the moment, it's not coming to my head the other words for the level. So kai, for example, it depends. But this one godan is used for the dan is used for this context. I'm so sorry if that doesn't really answer your question. So yes. 大丈夫ですか皆さん?
Daijoubu. Daijoubu, yes.
Yes. So this one will change depending on the context on the level that you are mentioning about, actually. So. Okay, so the rule verb. So the rule verb is the ichidan, which is one level. Rule verb. So why is it called rule verb? Is because it ends with the hiragana ru. But hold on, I'm pretty sure everyone would be saying like, but sensei, at the u verb here, there's also a word that ends with ru here. I'm pretty sure everyone would be wondering that.
I feel like that would be something Kaicho would ask.
Oh really?
But Sensei went and said, but Sensei. He sounded like something Kaicho would say.
Tak pasal kaicu yang punya.
I've never heard of such allegations. I
Allegation.
here I'm trying to be say so. Bloody hell. Carry on.
Alright. So so yes. So you might wonder, like, even if I said that this the ru verb is the verb that ends with the ru, then why is there also ru here? So the thing is, there is such thing where u verb is a u verb, but it is disguised as ru verb. So this one is actually not because it ends with ru, but it actually ends with the u vowel kind of meaning. So this one is a special case. So some people might wonder, like, how do you differentiate then if it comes up like this? How do you differentiate whether it falls under the u verbs or the ru verb? This one is more to memorizing actually. Yeah, this one you have no choice but to memorize which category it falls under the u verbs or the ru verbs. So that's why every time we learn new new vocabulary, they would clearly put the categories, which category it falls under. So this one is more on memorizing actually. So you can't really know whether it's based on this, whether it is under u verbs or the ru verbs. So yes, I would suggest you guys to have a notebook for yourself. And every time we learn a new verb, you should different like separate it into the whether it's the u verb or the ru verb, so that in the future you can also um apa tu, go back to that book and refer back, use as a reference. So yes, this one is the ru verb, chidam. So the first one that we'll be learning is oboeru. So oboeru means to memorize. Oboeru. Oboeru, to memorize. So for example, like you want to say uta o oboeru. Uta, to memorize the song. So oboeru. And then we have deru. Deru. So deru, it has two meanings depending on the context. So the first one is to appear or to attend. For example, like you want to say you'll be appearing, or you'll be appearing to a concert, for example, meaning you'll be playing something at a concert. Then you will say konsato ni deru. Konsato ni deru. So you use the particle ni here, the context. Konsato ni deru. Konsato, konkuru, for example. Konkuru ni deru. Kurasu ni deru. Kurasu ni deru? Well, it depends because class is not something that is like kurasu ni deru. It doesn't fit though for the class. Kurasu ni deru. Discord ni deru. Discord ni deru. For this one is more to Discord ni hairu actually to get in Discord actually for this one. If it's Discord. Discord ni hairu. Trust me, attendance imasen. So deru for this one to appear is something that is more big in terms of context, like an event or something like that. So it's more to like the event kind of things. Something that is very big. Nani ni deru. So contesto, for example, ni deru. Shiai ni deru. To appear or to attend a competition, for example. And then we also concert ni. So concerto ni deru. So meaning you will be appearing or you'll be entering the concert, for example. So yes, and then we also have the meaning of exit, to exit, deru. But this one is you use o. So for example, like you want to say, for example, you are like watching a live, for example, and then you would say you want to exit that live. So you just say live wo deru or gakko wo deru, class wo deru, for example, to exit. That is deru. 質問ありますか？大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫です。
はい。
大丈夫。
大丈夫ですけど、お腹が空いたそうです。
とか、あと少しだけ頑張ってね。
はい。
There's the thumbs up, yes. And then, so we had U verb or the U verb, and we also have the Ru verbs. So there's another category where it is called irregular verbs. So the reason why it's called irregular verb is because they don't really have the formula to conjugate except to memorize it. And basically this one is just under this irregular verb is turu and kuru. This one. 僕は空気です。そうですね。Suru and kuru. These two only is under the irregular verb. And if you notice in this one is they have suru at the end. That's why it falls under the irregular verb. So the first one is undo suru. Undo suru. So undo actually means exercise. Exercise, or it can also mean like sports actually. So sports. Undo. So this one is undo, and then suru is actually the meaning is to do. suru, to do. So basically is to do sports or to do an exercise basically. Undo suru. Undo suru, to do exercise or physical exercises. Undo suru.
Sensei.
Oh my god, ya Allah. Oh my god, I did not even notice. No, stop looking.
Sedih.
Don't look.
Oh, yeah.
Don't look. Check the matter. Oh my god, oh my god, why is it so slow? Ya, baik desu.
Sabar, sabar.
That's all.
Bahaya. Bahaya.
Bahaya, yes. Okay. So yes, undo suru, which is to do physical exercise or to do exercises. Undo suru. And then the next one we have sanpo suru. Sanpo suru. So sanpo is actually, it means a walk. Walk. Sanpo. And then suru means to do. So basically it means like to take a walk actually. Sanpo suru. For example, you say sampo. Not that sampo, but sampo. Sampo suru. For example, you want to say you take a walk at the park. So, 公園で散歩する。散歩する。散 So yes, basically, in other words, irregular verbs are the one that have suru or kuru. So, 大丈夫ですか？質問ありますか？
大丈夫ですけど、質問がありません。
はい。
大丈夫で
はい。Okay.
すね。
Alright. 大丈夫です。Okay, then we have the adverbs and other expression, which is hyogen. So the first one we have kara. Kara. So kara means from, and usually like there's also a grammar that we've learned. Nani nani kara nani nani made. If you guys remember. Nani nani kara nani nani made. This one is a grammar that we learned previously. So this one is basically from this until this. It can be used for like time usually. For example, you want to say from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, for example, then you say ichiji. Ichiji means 1 o'clock. Ichiji. Ichiji. Kara. Niji. Niji made. So this one would be ichi. Ichi. Niji. So ichiji is 1 o'clock, since 1 is ichi and then ji represents a clock, basically. So ichiji kara, from 1 o'clock. Niji, ni is 2, so basically 2 o'clock. Niji made, until 2 o'clock. So this one is a grammar that we've learned. But this one is basically nani nani kara, it just means like from. So it can be like a place, from a place. Like for example, like Nara kara kimashita. For example, I came from Nara, for example. Or Malaysia kara kimashita. I came from Malaysia, for example. That is the kara, which is from. And then the next one we have zehi. Zehi. So zehi in this one is actually by all means. Actually, yes, this is the perfect word to perfect sentence to describe this word zehi. By all means, zehi. For example, like you want to like offer someone a food, then you'd be like, oh, ぜひ食べてください. Then say, be right back, madam. Oh, no problem. For example, you want to say like you want to offer a food, you say like, oh, like please by all means, do eat it. For example, like ぜひ食べてください. For example, that is the point of ぜひ by all means. So ぜひ. And then we have tokorode. 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 So tokorode is meaning like apa tu, by the way actually. So, by the way. For example, like you are talking something and then something came into your mind that you wanted to ask and you were like, oh yeah, by the way, did you apa tu, did you watch yesterday's movie, for example, the by the way, right? So you'll be like, tokorode, kino no eiga o mimashita ka? For example, yes, tokorode, by the way, tokorode, tokorode. And then we have minna, minna, minna. So minna, of course, it means all. This is usually the word that I would use in every time I announce there's class or not. I will be like, minna, konbanwa, or minna, konnichiwa. This one, minna. There's also have, if you want to be formal, is the kanji for G look like G in ichiji. The kanji of it. If it's the kanji, if you were to write in the kanji, it would be like this. Ichiji. Kara. Niji. This one is the kanji for toki actually. Toki, which is time. This is the kanji of it. Ichiji kara niji made. So if for the minna, if you want to make it formal, like you know how sometimes people would say like minasan, minasan. So this one, they don't use minna, they would say minasan. If you notice, there's no in the middle, but it means the same. But this one is like everyone, but it's a very formal way of calling everyone. Minasan, for example. So minasan. Because actually this actually have the kanji of it. So minasan. And then we have more. More. So more actually means already. More. For example, I already ate. More tabeta. For example, I already ate. More tabeta. I already what else? I already did my homework. More shukudai o yarimashita. More. Use the more. But if it's like not yet, the opposite of this one, it is actually mada. Mada. This one is not yet. Mada. For example, you want to say you haven't eaten yet. So mada tabete inai. And this one usually you have to end the sentence in a negative form. Nani nani nai. Mada tabete inai. Mada shukudai o yatte inai, for example. So mada is,
So if it's like a positive, then we use more instead.
well, more is basically just already. So yeah, it has to end in a positive and past tense.
More sotsugyou shita. More koko kara sotsugyou shita.
So. Yes. More. This means already. And then the last part is basically the numbers that we've learned. So this one, as I mentioned previously, the 2 here is actually what you call it, the counting words for small items. It can be a small box, or apples, fruits, those kind of small things. So you use soup actually. Soup. Soup. So we have the first one, and then this one is they have a different reading for um most of it lah. Most of it is different way of reading it. It's not like ichi, ni, san, shi, go, roku, nana, like that. But this one is different way of reading it. So this one is mostly like you have to remember actually. So the first one is hitotsu. Hitotsu. So which is one. For example, you want to say one apple. Please give me one apple. Apa tu? Ringo hitotsu kudasai. So you use the hitotsu. Please give me one apple. Ringo hitotsu kudasai. That is one. And then we have two, which is futatsu. Futatsu. Two. So for example, ringo futatsu kudasai. Or like orangeを2つください. Please give me 2 apples or 2 oranges. はい。なんだい。2. And then we have 3. 3. Since there is a small tsu here, it means a double letter here. The small tsu. 3つ, which is 3. And then we have 4つ, which is 4. 4つ. And then 5 is 5つ. This one is a bit hard to pronounce. 5つ. Wait, there's no double T. 5つ. 5つ. And then for 6, we have 6つ. 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 And then 7, 7つ. For example, like 7つの大罪, the name of the anime. The 7 deadly sins. 7つの大罪. 7つ. And then for number 8, it is 8つ. 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 And then number 9 is 9つ. 9つ. For number 10, hold on. For number 10, I'm going to check. Where is it? The counting one that we've learned. Do we have 2 here? Okay. For number 10 is actually just to, isn't it? You don't put 2 at the back. Yeah. For number 10, there's no 2 at the back. This one is a special one. So it's better better to remember it actually. So it is to. It's not 2, but it's to. To, which is 10. To. So this is the numbers used for like counting small items like apples or small boxes or small things basically. So, and of course this cannot be used for any other things. Like for example, if it's like a small animals, you can't use this one. It has another counting words which is picky. So this one will be learned in the future. I think for the normal classes, we've actually covered this one, but for the beginners class, we'll cover it soon. So yes, we only have 3 more minutes. I guess we cannot continue. We cannot enter the grammar part. So the grammar part will cover next week for the normal classes, and tomorrow for the beginners classes, we will be continuing last class, and probably we'll enter a new chapter actually. It's either that or you guys want to do a work, macam orang kata the workbook. Which one do you guys want to do for tomorrow? Minasan desu desu ka?
Semua tiba.
Semua. I guess we'll do a bit of the workbook part because I did download the workbook. So I guess we can check that workbook out and then we can also practice for the first chapter part. So yes, that's it for today. I guess for those who have other things to do, you can leave the BC. But if you want to stay, it's also welcome. And now I have to think on how to explain the noun and the
Oh
adjective.
no.
Oh no.
Tak apalah, I'm a lost cause, Sensei.
No, don't say that. Come on.
Tapi Sensei, sekejap. Sebelum tu, nak tanya.
Uh-huh.
Apa beza kunai dengan janai?
Kunai dengan janai.
Janai. Yeah.
Okay, apa beza dia is, it's one of it